Oh, man. I haven't done that in a minute, bro.
Oh, man.
Did I catch you off guard a little bit?
You did. For sure. For sure. I almost started singing. I thought it was the old days.
Oh,
for a
yeah.
minute.
You know, this is what we doing today.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
Yes, sir. We are back with no special guest this week.
No special guest.
Wow. But you got us. We are back.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to leave y'all hanging.
Right.
We needed to give the people something.
A little bit of something, you know?
And so we here. And we're going to figure out the next little bit of time.
Well, we could do a little bit of reflection.
We're going to do a little bit of
reflection. We could do a little bit of braggadocious type of stuff.
Well, you know what I mean? We're just going to talk a little bit.
Talk about
Before we get into anything.
Uh-oh. What are we doing? What are we getting into?
Make sure you like.
Oh.
Make sure you subscribe.
You know what? Subscribe, would you please?
And make sure you comment and share.
You know what? Actually, if you're watching this, and this is particularly to our watching audience.
Right.
If you're watching this and you see that and it's still turned red, just go ahead and hit that button so it goes to the gray.
Do that.
To the gray space.
Do that.
Okay?
Do that.
And just get that done. I know how it is, though. You know, we talk about it. You and I talk about it all the time. We,
watch like 15 videos. I ain't subscribed.
Right. And then,
like, God damn it. I'm doing to them what people are doing to us.
We understand. You know, like when you're going down YouTube rabbit holes and stuff like that, you know, and then you're stuck on a channel and then you're like, man, I really like this channel. Well, if that's you, just please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out, man. It really does. And honestly, hit that like button because
hit that like button, man. Hit that like button.
That definitely helps us out as well.
And shout out to all this to all the listeners out there.
Cannot forget
in the listening
listeners.
world.
Yeah.
Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, wherever you get your podcast digitally. You can get the Gray Space podcast there as well.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the listeners.
And thank
you guys
so
for tuning
much
in.
for all the listeners, dude.
Yeah.
Like our listening audience is crazy.
It's crazy.
Bro. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And it's cool, man. So a little bit of we're gonna do a little bit of reflection, right?
Yeah. Well, I say what else is crazy, man. Is it's September, bro.
Right.
Of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? It's here.
I feel like yesterday we were knocking on the door of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We were celebrating the end of 2020, getting into 2021.
Right.
And 2021 was a little bit crazier. And now we about to be on 2022.
Dude, that's pretty crazy when you, man, the older you get though, man, the faster time goes, you know?
Say goodbye to what we had. I'm saying goodbye like a motherfucker.
Man, I wanted you to keep going. I was enjoying this little serenade that we had going on here, man.
No, I'm just saying, man, it's crazy, man. It's, already September. Obviously, man, the last, almost 2 years, year and a half have been, have had a lot of ups and downs, and I think as we go through things, you try to reflect, you try to look back on certain things. And we didn't have a guest on this week. So we thought a way to kind of bring y'all a dope show was for us to reflect on kind of what's been going on.
Yeah.
The last year and a half with us as a show, as a network, as content creators. And so, so you're here now. And we're gonna jump right into it, man.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I know you got some things you want to talk about. Let's get into it.
Well, it's cool, to actually think about where we came from, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't start in this room that you guys see, and if you don't see, it's fine. We didn't start in this area, right? And we started audio only.
Yep.
Right? And the iterations that we've gone through, we've listened to some feedback, but we really listened to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and we really went through, okay, you know, a little bit of insight for people that don't know. I don't know if we've ever talked about it or
I don't think
you know,
maybe
I don't know. We're on episode right now. This is, I think, 76 or 77. I can't remember. It's somewhere in there. We're getting close to 100 episodes, by the way, which is crazy in itself,
which is fire.
right?
It's fire.
So,
real quick, if you guys hear
a child,
a kid, sorry, that's just how she is. She got to let the whole streets know.
Yeah, she got to know.
So don't worry about it, okay? You may not hear it, but if you do, don't worry about it. She's having a good time.
Yeah, she's having a great time out there, man.
So go ahead. So 76 episodes. We're almost on 100.
Yeah, we're almost on 100, which is crazy to think about.
Fire.
And then, you know, where we started at my place.
Yep.
You know, and we started in my spare bedroom there, and you know, we did audio only, and that's how we got started. And I think that's why we have a bigger audio listening.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's where we started, obviously. But for people that don't know, we did scrap a couple episodes. We tried, you know, and we did record them. Nobody will ever hear them because I think we don't even have the files.
No,
of that
the files
anymore.
are gone.
But
the files are way gone.
the first one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, we were feeling
pumped.
it.
We pumped.
The second one was garbage. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. It was straight up trash.
Smoldering 115-degree marinated garbage.
Just pure garbage.
It was trash.
We were all over the place, which is fine for a podcast.
We were sipping.
But yeah, the bad thing is we had a little bit too much to drink that night.
Man, them damn coconut ocean breeze, whatever the hell they were, was going down very smooth.
They were going down really smooth. And I think
we didn't eat until like later.
We didn't eat till after. And anyways,
sounds of Mascadores.
You know, and it's just very interesting where so, you know, and then we're like, okay, this doesn't work.
Right.
And we, you know, I think you and I we always talk about what's going on to this day, you know, even still, we're trying to make it and perfect it
every day.
And it's, you know, anyway, so in the beginning though, I remember you were like, you know what, I think would be a really cool idea is you come up with a question,
right?
Me, myself, right? And you don't tell me what it is.
So the original basis was, Zeke, you would have the topic or topics, and you would bring them to the table,
right? And
I would not know. We wouldn't discuss it.
We didn't discuss it at all. Nothing.
And you would say, you know, what do you think about?
Well, our very first episode that ever went
that actually aired,
it was what if sports didn't exist?
What if sports didn't exist?
Which is it's still a fire episode if you guys have not.
And what ended up happening
have to listen
was,
to it, by the way.
Right, the pandemic hit, and then there was no sports. There was literally no sports, and it was like, oh shit.
And that was.
And when we did the episode, when we did that first episode, it was such a hypothetical question, because in what world do sports do? There's no sports. In what world?
Right.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
We got it.
Yeah. It was so
It was like the Simpsons fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, we basically predicted the future on that one.
Yeah, low-key.
But I really do like that episode though.
Yeah,
you know, it's a really good episode, and we really found our footing from that point forward, right? And we did it that way, I would say, for a good I would say about 7 or 8 episodes or so.
7 or 8 episodes.
And then we started being like, okay, this is kind of working, but we need to take it in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And I really think, and it actually spawned, I think, from us going to video. And our very first video is the Kobe video.
Is it the first?
That's the first one we've shot. It's like, it's the Kobe video, isn't it? It's the Kobe video, dude.
Is it?
It's the Kobe video, and then after that is communication.
Okay.
Those were our first
I'll
two.
Take your word for it.
Yeah,
okay.
Those are our first two.
We found a camera.
Oh yeah. Tell them about the camera, because the camera is yours.
The camera was sitting in a box from 1937. Blew the dust off that motherfucker and said, "Hey, let's try it out." You know, and for those of you who have watched all the way through, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
For those of you that, and I'm just saying for the people who watch, who are kind of newer to the show and maybe have only checked out the podcast, maybe have only checked out a couple reviews, whatever the case may be, like none of this was here. And so we had literally one camera, one angle. You couldn't see our faces. The lighting was absolutely terrible.
Man. It was terrible.
And then we finally, we got a new camera.
We got one new camera.
One new camera first.
It was the first thing we did.
And then we did.
It used to be up really high.
But
it was still
right.
An interesting. I go back to that, and I want to say that was our Black History Month is when we got that. The very first one, I think it was the Daryl Davis one, is when we got that camera, and we had a big white table. You know.
Oh, talk about the lighting too, because when we originally started, we because I had just moved into the crib,
right?
So there's nothing here.
No, yeah, there was nothing in this room.
No, there was nothing in the room except for like.
Well, you had to have a floor light.
And that's like the corner lamp.
The corner lamp, floor light.
Like
yeah, that you did.
Click, click, click. Okay, and then there's the light. Right.
And then we said, man, we need an overhead light. You know,
right? Because we were like, "Yo, we need better lighting."
And I wasn't very long, man. And we installed. There's an overhead light above us,
right?
Which is a ceiling fan.
It's
a ceiling fan light, right? And we thought, oh, that would work okay. And honestly, it did help.
It did.
To be quite honest with you,
changed the game. We were like, oh my god!
Oh wow, you can see us now.
You can actually see us now, and we're real people,
right?
This is not virtual
reality. And we installed it ourselves,
right?
You know, you and I both, got up there and did it.
Yep,
and we're like, man, nice.
Then we go on a photo shoot.
Yes,
with the great metaphorical Chaz, with the great Chaz.
That was a fun experience.
That was crazy, and it gave us so much insight, as far as like lighting.
So and that's where the lighting stuff really came into play.
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, do this, do this."
Yeah,
do this.
and he was like, really, he was like, you got to play around with it, but make sure you do this and this, and just kind of some basic stuff, and. I'm very grateful for that information, that knowledge that he dropped on us, man, because it was very helpful for us.
For sure.
Do we have it still where we want it necessarily to be? I think we could still perfect it a little bit more. Yeah. What's funny is if you guys ever get into this game of shooting videos, it doesn't have to be podcast, any video. Man, it's just so interesting how because you want to tweak it all the time. You always want something. Like my ideal, and I would never do it in this room, right? But maybe future plans, which we'll get into at the end. But I would love to hang the lights up here. I think a more top light coming down from what I've seen and watched videos on and how to do lighting and stuff. I think it looks still pretty good in here. No complaining.
We make do with what we got. But yeah, I mean, at that cool. time, man, it was crazy. So
then we got a couple more cameras.
Because I was like, man, we got to have the different angles and long story short, man, we changed the lighting, we changed the scenery, just over the time. We got rid of. We stopped doing the reviews. So when we started early, for those that don't know,
that's always been a part of our show.
The reviews have always been a part of what we do, but what it was early on,
it was attached.
We're music based, and in the sense that that's our background. We went to school to be engineers. We love music. We've been immersed in music since we were kids. And so, how we met was through school, which was engineering, audio engineering. And so we always wanted to do reviews.
Right.
And they were actually at the end of the show. And there was a time actually before we actually did say, okay, we're going to cut it out, where I came to you and was like, yo, maybe we should make it a separate thing. You're like, nah, it's part of the show. Like, we talked about it. I was like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then I think we put a feeler out there.
We did.
It was like a 50-50. So it was like,
straight up. It was straight up 50-50.
Straight up and down.
It was straight up 50-50. 50% of you who were following us back then said keep it in the show.
Right.
The other 50% who voted on it said no, we love it in the show.
Right.
You know, and you know, and circumstances had it. You know, there was just a point where I don't even know we discussed about it. It just came off the show, like just it was. There was a lot of stuff happening in the world.
There was a lot of stuff. COVID was going crazy at this point.
The George Floyd thing happened.
The George Floyd thing happened, and then I think that's right around the time that we said, okay, it's about that time. I think.
Well, we did it purposely, knowing that we weren't doing a music because we were talking about some serious.
We had to have some serious conversation,
and we just left it. You know, obviously for obvious reasons, we left it out of there because it was just that type of show.
Right.
And then we were like, oh wow, that worked. So again, we iterated it again. Actually, I want to take it back just a little bit further because before we made the decision to pull that out, we actually decided to have guests on pre-COVID. So back in March of 2020, March of 2020, we had guests lined up for April, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
We had about 3 or 4 guests lined up.
You know,
I think we had 1 or 2 solidified dates, and the other 2 like we were trying to figure out, okay, what time, yada yada, whatever.
Right.
So that idea of having guests on was actually over a year ago, but then COVID happened. Just for everybody to know.
So COVID happened, and then we get into obviously just the tension that had been brewing, but had obviously had boiled over, and with the George Floyd situation,
right?
Breonna Taylor, George Floyd murder, Breonna Taylor murder, and so on and so forth. It got to a point where it was like every other day, every week, it was like you couldn't keep up with what was going on, and so we decided to say, okay, we're gonna stay away from the reviews on the show. And you were doing a show at the time called What You Heard, which you were previewing new music every single week, fire show. So yeah, I mean, let's just spin through it. Like, things changed and it evolved, and then we brought back the reviews as a standalone show. It wasn't always going to be music. It's not always going to be music, by the way, just real quick. There are going to be some different elements added to the show real soon here. But it has been mainly music up to this point.
Yeah.
And then we get into the meat where it's like, I want to talk about the pre-guest shows, because you know, during COVID, and we're still in it. I hate to say during it, like we're still in it, but during the initial part of it, like the lockdown and all that stuff, it was very hard. And when you say, like, you talk about, you know, we wanted guests, yeah, we sure did. And a lot of people were doing the Zoom thing,
right? Yeah.
And props to them for doing it. You know what I mean?
Everybody was doing it. Yeah.
Networks were doing it.
I mean, you
ESPN
had to.
was
it was
doing
the only
it.
way.
Fox Sports was doing it. Like,
it was the only way to talk to people.
The only way to talk to people. And we always said, when we get into the interviews, we want to have people on. And so what we did was we talked about a lot of fire and important and relevant issues to today. I mean, we've had conversations about mental health. We've had conversations about communication. We've had conversations about relationships. We've had multiple conversations about relationships. We've had conversations about race and racism in America and prejudice and the divide. And you know, we tried to stay away from politics.
Right.
But when we had to go there, we had to go there, and we did.
It's creeped in a little here and there. Yep.
So there's a lot of those shows that I feel like built the foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For what we actually do now, and what we're doing now. Like, had we not had those conversations early, I don't know if we'd be able to sit right here, just me and you, and just go, yo, let's just chop it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
I think it was a blessing. I really do, because we were so bummed out when the initial COVID part happened, right?
Yeah,
and we were really bummed out about what are we going to do, because we really wanted to change, like that initial
we
change,
wanted guests.
right? But I say this as a blessing, because I think we still had more to learn and more to grow, and get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more used to the stuff that you guys can't see, of the editing, the lights, the cameras, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it really got us in, and we've had guests on talk about the COVID situation, and I think it, for a lot of the creatives, it got them into, okay, well, let's dive in deeper into, let's learn about, let's get deeper in, and I think that's what we did as well. We dove in deeper into, okay, just all kinds of stuff, graphics, we're still getting there,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to it. It's like, and
editing.
Yeah, the editing part of it, everything. So
yeah.
But I really think when we really honed in on, like, just you and me chopping it up, there were some great conversations that came out of there.
Well, and I think back to this, right? Like, at one point, for those that don't know, when we started, I was recording the audio from a different computer. So right now, everything I'm recording is from this laptop that you guys see here.
Yeah, there's a computer right off camera,
like a full computer.
Yeah,
it's right
off camera,
and
it's still there.
And I had a keyboard, and I'm like literally like, and it's an older computer, so we had it like it would shut down.
By the way, if you guys want to go watch some of the
like,
issues,
if you see some of these you'll see some of these cuts in some of the videos, and you may not notice them because your boy's fire with the editing, but they're in there.
Yeah,
there's parts where it's like, damn it, man.
Yeah, and
I mean, 20 minutes into a 45-minute video, or
but you would always see both of us were very, like, it always took our attention away from sometimes the show, because we would be like, did it shut off? Did it shut off? Did it shut off? So we would constantly be looking over there at that computer going, did it shut off? And it happened numerous times, man.
A lot of times when it happened, man, it was really early though. Most of the time when it happened, it was like right off the gate. So it's like, okay, cool. Whatever it was trying to figure out, it figured out,
man.
Whatever. But yeah, like, so that, I mean, I was like, I went back and I go back and watch certain episodes, and just to get better. And I was watching one, and I forgot.
Okay.
So I'm like, where the hell is? Oh shit, we still had the keyboard. Like,
yeah, the keyboard, and the mouse.
And the mouse, and I'm like,
right. I actually forgot about this. Yeah, the keyboard and the mouse on the table here, man. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Totally forgot about it, man. I was like, man, the table looks empty as hell, man. What's going on here?
So yeah, we took. I was doing a show called What You Heard, like you said, and then we took the reviews and we made it its own show, which I think it's a pretty fire show. I really love doing it just because we love listening to music. Ooh. And
look, for our listeners, really man,
into it, man.
For our listeners, and I mean that with everybody, whoever, if you watch it on YouTube or if you listen to it as a podcast on whatever, streaming service that you use, if you have a chance and you'd like to watch good reviews, they're normally about 15 to 20 minutes long. And I'm not bragging, but we do a good job.
Oh, brag, because I think we do a damn good job.
It's called What You Heard Reviews. It's on our YouTube page. So all the links are right there for you guys. We have our link tree. You guys can pull it up from our link tree. Go to our YouTube page. It's a playlist. It'll be probably one of the first playlists right there, I believe. I think it's like the second or third. And go check out, you can scroll through and find some artists that you may like, some artists that you're not sure about. We do we mainly do a certain genre, hip hop, R&B only because that's what we're into a lot. But we've done rock, we've done a lot of alternative music. We've done some country. Like we're just looking for fire albums.
Right.
Period. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. So if you guys, for those who don't know or who have not watched that show, because there's a lot of people who have not watched What You Heard that rock with us here
Right.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Please go check this show out.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other way around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What You Heard, and so What You Heard came from me doing a weekly show about new music. And I really kind of stopped because I was really tired of the copyright stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It's really what really kind of bogged me down.
Ass on the copyright.
Yeah, the copyright stuff. So we kind of like took away the new music.
It'd be like
in a
the
sense.
one person you didn't think. Like
Right.
all the major artists, no problem. One regular degler schmegler.
Right. Yeah, you just never.
Copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, we took away my music show, but then kind of reinvented What You Heard into the review show.
Right.
And a preview show. I did a couple previews with,
Yep.
Chris Stapleton. I think I did one with Goody Mob
Yep.
album. Tried out a little thing. We're always trying little things here and there and
trying new
trying to
stuff.
see what works and what doesn't work if we like it. And I would give anybody advice. Even if you think it's a good idea, try it, because you never know until
You
it's
gotta and see it through.
yeah. Because
Don't just try it. Don't do it once and then be like, oh, that shit was whack. Tweak it, go through it, and then if
Yeah.
you're like, nah, this doesn't work, then fine, right?
right.
But like, from what you're saying, from all of that, from the What You Heard show to the What You Heard previews to us doing the reviews on the actual podcast, blossomed What You Heard reviews, and now, I'm just letting y'all know we about to take it to another level. We got so much stuff coming
Right.
up that's
Yeah.
about to be fire.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But so then, our dream, in a sense, kind of got realized. We started having guests come on the show.
Yeah, and it started with the squad, man. Fetty Bound.
And we really appreciate that. I mean, man,
That was huge, man.
That was really huge
for us.
Yeah.
And for multiple
all
reasons.
kinds of reasons.
For figuring out multi-camera angles, for
Right.
figuring out the audio, figuring out how to set up, where the dimensions, all of it, right? It was huge.
It was
and
big,
then
yeah.
like figuring out how we were going to do a show with somebody else and create these questions, create this dialogue, and obviously they were on to promote Independent, and which again, fire album. Please go check that album out. But yeah, like that was crazy. That was dope. That was like the spark that lit the fire.
Yeah, for sure. And then you guys seen is we've just kind of kept going. And
Yeah.
all these interviews, I love it. The dynamic of bringing people in and talking about their particular craft of what they do,
Yeah.
even we've had because like you said, we come from music, so we know a lot of people in music,
Right.
A lot of different connections through music and
Right,
stuff. So
right.
we're definitely planning on branching out. If you guys, keep in tune, we have some things cooking right now.
Oh, we got some rolling for sure.
We're definitely trying to get. We're never going to get away from music, by the way, because
No.
we love it. I love talking to people about music.
Yeah.
It's one of my passions. It's one of your passions.
We definitely got some
It's
stuff
never
rolling,
going away, but definitely gonna have a different branches in our tree
for sure.
of different style of podcast interview that we do.
We definitely got like for those who don't know where the Gray Space name comes from, it comes from us, from me and Zeke. Two different backgrounds, two different ways of growing up, although a lot of things very similar. And we just would always talk about we talk about so much stuff. I mean, from music to, you know, we have a lot of racial relations conversations for obvious reasons. We talk politics. We just don't talk it here on the show. So, you know, that's where this was our, you know, our area is the gray space. Like we didn't want to be chained to one thing.
Right.
And I think it's good to have somewhere that you kind of stick to. And those that want to do that, I mean, like you said, our base is music, and so we're always gonna have
it's
music.
Always gonna be there, man. It's never going away.
But we're looking to branch out. We've got some guests that are on the way, and we're working with to get on and to talk about some different things.
Oh yeah, we got more music. We got people in different fields that we're talking to get on and stuff like that.
You know what I think is though fire though, and I want to go back to the guests, man. And I want to ask you a question.
I'll have a question for you too. Go ahead.
So there's been like an underlying theme through all of our guests, right? And I think the biggest thing that has been dope for me to sit in here in the room with every single guest is the journeys, the stories.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah, put me on the spot.
You don't have to answer.
It's the same question I probably have. What's your favorite guest that we've had on?
Well, and then with just when it pertains to the stories.
And so my question to you was, do you have a favorite guest that we've had on?
Okay.
That was my.
Okay.
Funny because I do want to answer it. I really do because, and I was thinking about it, man, and we've had amazing interviews. By the way, amazing. So this is my absolute man.
It's tough.
It's tough because honestly, for me, there's two in particular.
Okay.
One, it's 1B.
It's tough.
It's 1B for me, and hold on. But it's Mega Ran. And that's 1B. There's one a little bit above that for me, and I'll get there. But Mega Ran was he was just such a cool dude. Very pleasant, but honestly, man, that it's kind of hard because I'm a fan of his. Right. So that's why I say 1B because it was special because I was sitting here with him and we were just having a conversation, and it was cool and fire interview. I loved his stories. But I knew a lot of stuff from him already, but he did tell stories, obviously I had no idea about and stuff like that. But my absolute engaging, and I got lost in the sense of I was so, just wrapped up in the stories. TJ Supa.
Ooh.
TJ Supa.
TJ Supa's up there.
TJ Supa changed it for me in the sense of his stories were so good, but not just that. Please go back and listen or watch that. Yeah. He had gems, and we tried to put out as many gems as we could, social media wise. It was too hard. There was so much stuff that he talked about. And I really
so many gems in that.
Dude,
there was so many gems in that interview, bro.
It was so good to me. It was really, and look, dude, we've had fantastic interviews, but for me that was a little bit different. It's tough for me
because I have some that are personal to me, like J20, man. That's like that's a brother of mine, right? So that holds a high regard, and it was dope. Like, I look, every single one has been fired. I'm telling you right now, every time we've done an interview, we've got done, we've walked to my backyard and went, fire. Yeah. I can't wait to edit. I already know what I'm going to do. Right. This is tough for me. I will say I agree with you. I think TJ is probably he'll be the 1A. He'll be my 1A.
Would you quit agreeing with me?
No, I agree with you.
You know what?
on
People
that.
don't want to hear you agreeing with me.
No,
all
I agree
the
with
time.
you.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
But I honestly,
I'm just messing with you.
I'll say probably my actual favorite, for totally different reasons, man, was Dave Miranda, bro.
Miranda was awesome, by the way. That was
Dave
so
Miranda
good.
was dope. Just it was cool, man. Like, I don't know, like the energy was real dope, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It seemed like a friend that you like knew in like first, second, third grade, and you didn't see, you haven't seen him forever.
Right.
You weren't like best friends, but like it was the homie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yo, Dave, what's up, man? Like, how you been? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Tone was the same way too, man. Tone is one of my favorite interviews for so many different reasons. I want to talk about Tone for a minute.
Okay, let's talk about Tone.
Two-Tone the Superstar. A lot of people have a preconceived notion about Tone.
Right.
Those who don't know him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, we don't know him as well as
right.
other people know him.
Of course.
But, we were able to talk to Tone before the interview, during the interview, and then, what's been cool is that some people have stuck around and we've had conversations for about 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour after the interviews. Like, there's stuff that we wish we could have kept the cameras on for.
Right.
It's personal stuff that, what
right.
I mean?
Right.
We
There's
got to sign
definitely-
liability agreements and
Yeah.
all kind of shit. But we've had fire conversations. And Tone was a guy, man, that, he has this stigma. He has this character attached to him. And I think for people that don't know him, go and watch this interview.
I would agree with that for sure.
For people who don't know Two-Tone the Superstar, who are only plugged into the Hatrix, which is I love what Two-Tone does. He is so necessary. He sparks the conversation, and it needs to be done. Right. But go watch this interview. He explains a lot. And for that, I'm rocking with Two-Tone until he does something absolutely egregious. Like, I'm rocking with him. You know what I mean? So that's when they're all, but Dave Miranda, man, that one was just dope. It was like talking to a long lost friend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think they all hold a high place. It's just they're in different pockets.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like they're all so good in so many different reasons why. Like the Moscato interview was fire, dude. It was so good. Never met the guy.
Yeah.
Just really cool. Like getting to know each one of these people, right?
The stories, man,
And
like it's so dope.
I just love all these stories that people have come on. I mean, again, we talked about True and the Ken G one that came, when they came on.
Yeah.
And fire, dude. It was so good. And to see them back here again,
Yeah.
man, it's just there's just so many different reasons why everyone has.
I think our most recent one, man, with DJI. I think that one was very interesting. She talked about it during the interview and said, she's just not really comfortable, speaking, live on the mic. Like, and this is something you can get on camera, you can do all, but sitting down and speaking in front of a mic or even rapping, there's a lot of guys who can freestyle in the hood that sound like, and they're great freestylers that get on to go rap a song and they sound terrible.
Right.
Because they get in front of the microphone and they're like, they're mad nervous. DJI was dope to me because she straight up said, she goes, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I don't do this.
Right.
And then she got on and it was like, you were amazing. What are you talking about?
And killed it. Yeah.
You took over the show.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's for me, man, for a lot of people that don't know, Zeke actually brought me into this. We were talking about podcasts way before podcasts were even a popular thing. The only people that had podcasts at the time was like Joe Rogan.
Oh man, it was
Charlamagne the God.
It was a very small pocket of people.
And he was like, look, man, we be having these fire conversations. Let's do a podcast. And I know we've told the story a couple times, but, you know, you brought me into this. You know, when I got back to Arizona, we got into it. We jumped after it, and we've never looked back. And I'll say this, man, we've had this conversation too. We have had enormous failures.
Oh, yeah.
Enormous failures.
Yeah.
Like, there's been shows that we've shot that before the show, we didn't want to do it. Not because, like, just we got some news beforehand about maybe something that's coming next week that we were like, like straight just took all the energy out of us.
Sucked in.
And we were like, you know what? We got to do it.
Yeah.
And we plugged through it. And we've had enormous failures. We have though, on the flip side of that coin though, we have been like, we ain't doing one today. Oh, for sure.
It hasn't been very many times, but there's been a couple times.
There's been a couple times like,
and we were just like, nope, it's not happening today. We can't do it today. You know, and it's
sometimes
just,
that works. Sometimes you gotta just know when to.
Yeah, there's sometimes where you just have to
know when to fold them.
Right. Yeah, no, that's very true though. I mean, like, man, another question, real quick. Do you have the most surprising thing that you think, like, people tuned in for? Like, you're like, wow, people really tuned in for that one.
The most surprising episode
that
people tuned into? Macy Jemison.
Mm-hmm.
Macy Jemison was one that, like, it was, so for those that don't know, we've said that quite a bit, sorry. We do a Black History Month special, and we run an episode every single week of Black History Month, trying to find maybe some stuff that you do know, maybe some stuff that you don't know. Mm-hmm. But we try to dig through the crates and find just dope people in Black history, inventors, artists, whatever. And we did Macy Jemison, and that one was dope. Like, I loved learning about her.
Yeah.
That was fun for me.
Maybe because, you know, it's interesting you said that it was fun for you. Maybe that really translated. You know, it's funny when you do these, you don't really know, because you could be excited, but maybe it just doesn't translate. Who knows? Like, we always try.
The streets got to tell us.
We talking to you for real now. Sometimes you just don't know why something hits.
Some things hit, some things
I'm
don't.
surprised that Are We Too Sensitive podcast that we did like a year ago.
That one too.
Like, why? Like, why? I mean, literally, why that one? You know? And look, I'm not saying it's a bad show. I actually think it's a great podcast.
No.
I really do. And I think, but it's just weird. You're like, that one, but this one was like, for people.
Right.
Like,
right.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
You know, so I just kind of want to throw that out there, you know. It's always interesting to us because we never know. We never know why you guys like certain
damn algorithms.
Why you guys?
We just blame it on the algorithms.
Oh yeah, it's always algorithms.
And then play Megaran algorithms. Megaran and Young RJ.
Yeah. So it's interesting what hits sometimes and what doesn't. But man, you guys, you know what? To kind of wrap things up, we really do appreciate all of you who tune in to us and watch.
Big time.
We got a lot of things coming up. I know we say that quite, but we do, and it might not be things that you guys can.
It might not be next week. It might not be the next couple of weeks, but trust.
Right.
They're on the way. It's on the way.
There's for sure. We're always moving. This is like we're building a puzzle, and we've just barely got a border done.
Right.
Right. And we have 1,000-piece puzzle to do. We just maybe finished the porter of it.
Guys, we have some incredible
So we
guests
got a lot
coming.
of the meat coming in, and
We've got some
of the show.
incredible guests coming. Like they're trust me, there's going to be some dope interviews that you guys are going to love, that are going to go, they're going to go every which way. There's going to be some that are music, there's going to be some that are film, there's going to be some that are, I don't want to give anything away, but there's going to be some different types of individuals up in here very soon. And we're just trying to get the dates and just figure out,
Right.
you know,
We got to work with people's
the
schedules.
availability,
Yeah,
you know,
just people's
and
schedules.
we have our own
schedules.
personal lives too, so
Yep.
we're trying to figure that out. What does help, keep it a buck, not begging for it, asking for it. Hit that Cash App.
Yeah.
That Cash App, and it helps us with new equipment. It helps us with just providing the most professional shit to the people.
Right.
And with that, we can better our resources and definitely get better guests.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
One last thing too. What you heard. What you heard is probably going to take on different forms. Stuff that you guys, maybe not have thought of. We're thinking of, just different. It's probably going to morph onto different things. So keep your eye out for what you heard stuff as well.
For sure.
So, anyways, man.
Make sure you hit that link tree too, man. Hit that link tree. All the links. Go follow us on social media.
You know what?
Go to our TikTok. We're about to be heavy on TikTok. We're about to be providing. That's another thing. We're going to be providing some stuff for y'all. That's only going to be available on TikTok or through social media.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to hear about certain albums that maybe we're not going to do reviews on, if you guys want to hear our takes on certain things, get that link tree.
Merch. Link tree. Merch is
Our
in there.
merch
We
is
have
on the link tree as well. Yeah,
Listen, we have merch. We've been really terrible, but there's a lot of things we're juggling. Anyways, merch. We're gonna get better at it. We're gonna, if you're interested, we have a couple items, some shirts, some coffee mugs, just things like that.
Just hit that link tree, man. There's everything's up in there.
Go check out the merch, and then we'll talk to you more about the merch a little later. But
Hit that link tree.
yeah, but it's up there. If you guys are interested and that's the way you want to support,
Hit that link tree.
anyways, you guys stay safe.
Yeah.
You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is the Gray Space. Peace.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit this button right here to check out the most recommended video for you.
And click right here to get our latest upload. And as always, subscribe. Peace.